So good morning, everybody. Just want to welcome you to our 7 a.m. club. And if you're watching it with us here, hello, good morning. And if you're watching the replay, good morning as well. You're maybe not watching it at 7 o'clock in the morning like we are, but you can watch it at your leisure with the replay. So this morning, Pazit and I, we do get our minds synced around the end of the week, and we have these discussions about what do we want to bring forth to our mastermind on a Sunday morning. What is it that's impacted us during our week? What is it that keeps coming up and showing itself? And not surprisingly, more often than not, we have the same things that that we're focusing on, that we're living in our life. So today we decided, because Pazit's had an extraordinary week. I'm sure you all had extraordinary things show up in your path, but today we wanted to talk about creating your reality from the inside out. And what does that mean? Circumstances that show up in our life that we're paying attention to, we believe, or the way that we've been taught to believe, is that those circumstances that are now in our life, wanted or unwanted, have created themselves, and then we in turn have feelings about those, which puts us out of the realm of being in control of anything, when in fact we're in total control of all of it. So living from the inside out, creating your reality from the inside out, means that your thoughts, which become your feelings and emotions, that's where the reality creation begins. In other words, what shows up in your circumstances is a result of the way you think. So Pazit, you had a really magical week, because you've been focusing all of your thinking on growing your brand, the Lifestyles brand, and you always are spending your time focusing on exactly what you want. And part of what that is a lifestyle, because you've got a show, a Facebook and an online show that speaks to entrepreneurs in the lifestyle brand industry, and that's what you do. So you're all about vision. So you were envisioning yourself in the lifestyle that you wish to be living in. So you're spending all your time thinking about exactly what you want. So tell us a little bit about what's been happening with that, those chosen thoughts, and focusing all your attention on that particular area of your life.
Okay, great. So guys, this really comes down to the premise that thoughts becomes things, and it's undisputed. Everybody throughout history disagreed on many, many things, and one thing that they did agree on is that your thoughts become things. So taking that very seriously, I experiment with it a lot. And so when I came to Miami, I only had one goal. I burned all my bridges in Montreal, because I didn't want to be used to my lifestyle of, I have to go in as a photographer, take pictures in order to get paid. That was something physical. I wanted to create it from my mind, and I wanted to know that it came from my mind. So I came to Miami with, no visa, nothing, right? So I can't work if I need to. I would have to create my reality from inside out. And so when I came here, I had a very, very clear picture, which my book was written before I got here. And so my whole book is written around this jet setter and celebrity entrepreneur lifestyle that I'm very, very attracted to and want to live. And so what I do is, because that's part of my brand, I started a TV show about it, and I have the I Have a Dream Academy Facebook group. And so every week I'm very immersed in looking for pictures, looking for content, everything that has to do with that lifestyle. So I'm always looking up celebrities I can interview. I'm always looking up different pictures of locations, mansions, gorgeous cars, jets, jets I would love to be on. And I do that, and I also do it for my club that I have. So being so immersed in it, last Sunday, I went out with a friend of mine that was here from out of town. And we went to this very cool, resto club in Miami. And so this club is actually on the marina. So all the yachts, people come in with their yachts. You can come in, either, by car or with your yacht. And the whole club is outdoors, right? It's all outdoors. Like you dock your yacht, you come onto this like playground, and you have fun. So my friend was with me, and he was here from San Diego, and he said, Pazit, I want to be on one of those yachts by the end of the night. Okay. And he said, can you make it happen? And I said, yeah, I can make it happen. I said, just let me vibe with the idea, and we will be on the yacht, So we were there like about half hour. We're having, cocktails. And I want you to understand, so where the yachts are, there's like a line. Okay. So the people that come with the car are on one side, and the people that are with the yacht is just separated by like a bit of a border. Like somebody has to let you in the other side. Okay. So almost like there's a border, there's a border between us. So I start talking to the, what do you call him, the bouncer there, and I asked him, what does it take to get to the other side? And he said, well, it takes two things. Either you have to get a table of like $5,000, with drinks and stuff, or you have to know somebody from the other side that invites you in. So for me, option 2 was the one I was working on. So so what I did is I just put my mind to it, and I imagined myself on the yacht, and I imagined somebody coming up to me and saying, hey, you want to come on this side? So my friend went to my friend was a guy, and I was there with another girl. And so as soon as my guy friend left to the washroom, this guy comes straight up to me, like straight. You have to understand, there's like lots of people. This is like a packed, very, very popular place, right? This guy comes up to me, straight to me, and he says to me, hey, do you want to come on this side? Not, hey, how are you? What's your name? Can I get you a drink? No. Hi, would you like to come on this side? And that's exactly what I want. I was like trying to think, how can I get on the other side? And I said, yeah, but you know what? I got some friends with me, right? So he's like, yeah, you can bring your friends, So I bring my friends, and, they have a table, and he goes, the only thing I want to ask is that you have a drink with me. And I said, yeah, I'll have fucking 2 drinks with you. No problem. Just get me on the other side, right? So we go on the other side, and so like me and my girlfriend were there, and then you have to remember my other friends in the washroom. And then he goes, after we have our first, we do like a shooter together. He goes, would you like to come on my yacht? I didn't know he had a yacht, right? I just thought like this was my first step in, and I'm like, yes, I'd like to come on your yacht. Yes, I would, So me and my girlfriend, we go on the yacht, and we're laughing because our friend is still in the washroom, and all this happening in like 5 minutes, So I'm like, where's your yacht? And he points to the yacht that my friend said, I want you to get me on that yacht. And I said, which one is your yacht? You have to understand, there's so many of them. He goes, that's the one. And I'm like, oh my God, that's the one my friend pointed to. So what was really fun is, so we kind of went with the flow, and to get onto the yacht was really, really fun. So you have to understand, there's a dock, and to get on the yacht, we had to jump like this really big distance between the yacht and the club where we're at. And so there's like people there assisting you. And then I got scared because I had to jump like this really big jump, So the guy's like, get off your heels. He gave me his hand, and we had to jump, and I was like really scared, and I said, isn't that like life? You got to jump for what you want. And I jumped. I said, the hell with it. The boat is right here. I'm here. This is what we wanted. And I jumped this like big gap, and I was like so happy. Anyways, we got on the boat, and 10 minutes after, I had to go get my friend, and the guy's like, well, I'm not going to get off the boat. And I said, I'll go. He goes, you won't be able to get your friend in without me. And I said, oh, don't worry. I'll be able to get my friend in. So I had to come back, jump out, tell go get my friend. And so remember, I made friends with the bodyguard. So now I talked to the bodyguard. So this whole thing, right? I didn't know I was making friends with the bodyguard. So because I friended him, I was able to get my friend in. And so of course we spent the whole night on the yacht. So that was really fun. 4 days later, as I'm still immersed, I'm looking at pictures.
And I just want to interrupt you. I just want to interrupt because I just want to go back just for a second, just because I want to break it down a little bit. So what Pazit does every day, which is really important to understand, because this is what we all need to do every day. Okay. First of all, you got to decide exactly, precisely what it is that you want. Okay, a clear picture of what you want, not just, okay, well, one day I'm going to do this, and and then it passes by, and then 3 days later you think about it again. I'm talking about make a decision for what you want, whether that's a lifestyle, whether that's whether it's a relationship, whether it's a part of your business expansion, whether it's a revenue goal, whatever the goal is, whatever that thing is, you got to get really clear on what that is. And Pazit knows exactly what she wants. And then she immerses herself in the thoughts of it. And then she's creating for her business around it. So you've got to get into this feeling. And the feeling part is so important, because whenever Pazit and I have conversations, we talk about this subject, and we talk about the subject of what I'm, focused on. So we're always in it, talking about it, feeling it. And so for her to find herself in the physical reality of having it show up, for anybody, for you to actually bring forth it to you, you have to feel what it feels like to already have it. Not think about, I wish I had it, I don't have it, but therefore I want it. You got to focus on what you want, not on the lack of it. So you've got to ignore the fact that you're not living on the yacht right now. You've got to feel what it feels like to be living on the yacht. So when you're thinking about what you want to focus. We're going to talk about that after, about the work that we have to do, which is focusing all of our attention on that one thing that we want. So that's what she does every day. So the reason why these things that other people would call coincidence, oh, look, what just happened, what a coincidence, in fact, is not a coincidence at all. There's really no such thing. We actually create our reality from the inside out. So it wasn't the circumstance that showed up by coincidence. The circumstance showed up in direct relation to the amount of time she spends focusing her attention on it. So continuing to focus her attention, what else showed up?
Yeah, focus is the power. Focus is the power, because I'm immersed in that lifestyle, not physically, but online, right? Through pictures. So I'm very focused on pictures of that lifestyle, because I'm always looking into it. My whole lifestyle, my brand is built on it. So although I don't have the yacht, it's really fun. I'm invited to other people's yachts, and that whole lifestyle. So I do it through my mind, just attraction. And 4 days later, so that was that night, and that was really fun, and we had a lot of good time. And then 4 days later, the girl that I met through my other friend that was staying here, she sends me a text, and this is like Friday, right? She sends me a text, and I have like a bunch of meetings all day, right? She sends me a text. She's like, hey, Pazit, want to go on a yacht at 4 p.m. And I'm looking, and I'm like back-to-back in appointments, right? And I'm like, oh my gosh, I have like so many appointments. And then she sends me a little text. She goes, just to let you know, he is one of Tony Robbins' closest friends. I said, I'll be on the yacht. I'll be on the yacht, I'll be there. So what I do is I had to get out of my own way. Now I realize that I am creating this. And I also realized, what do I do? Do I stay with all my calls all day? Can I reschedule my calls and take this opportunity? And I said, I'm just going to take this opportunity. It's not every day you get phone calls. Hey, Tony Robbins friends, go on Tony Robbins yacht. So I reschedule all my appointments. I clear out my whole schedule. And at 4 o'clock, I take an Uber to this to this place. Now this place happens. She just gives me an address. So I have no idea where I'm going. So the Uber driver is driving, and we're going through this gorgeous location in Miami. It's called Lake Road, and it's all mansions. Now you have to remember, I'm looking at pictures of mansions and yachts, and so every house is like a mansion as we're driving. And I'm like, I'm not sure, is she dropping me off? I don't know where I'm going, right? So then she pulls up in front of this gorgeous house, and she's like, Pazit, this is your stop. And I get off, and I'm like I trip on my own, because now I'm I know that I've been looking at the photos and focusing on it. And now I'm I'm in it, and I know that I'm in it. So I get all excited. So I get out of the car, and, okay, great, So I decide to wait in front of the house for my friend, and the owner of the house, Alejandro, comes in, and he's like, what are you doing waiting outside? And I said, oh, I'm just waiting for Katie, I'm just waiting for Katie. I'm her friend. He's like, no, you belong inside. Come inside. He goes, welcome home. And I'm thinking, yeah, welcome home. This is welcome home, right? So I go into his house, and his house is so much all these little things that I've imagined. I'm a very big fan of Alice in Wonderland. And the first thing he has is this really big picture of the Mad Hatter and Alice, right? Think 6 impossible things before breakfast. And so all this all this fantasy meets reality hits me in the face, right? Fantasy meets reality. And anyway, so of course we go in his house, and in his house is everything I imagine. He has like he has a cook, he has somebody who's like tending to us, he has the boat guy, you know. So I'm like, you know, hey, hey, Miss Perez, you want anything? Would you like me to cook anything? Do you want anything to drink? You know. So here I am living that lifestyle, and of course my friend Katie comes, and we go on his boat, and his boat happens to be the color gold. And, you know, so I wrote a whole book on the, you know, golden little secrets. My name is, Pazit means golden. So the boat is gold, you know, and we just get together and we jet, and, you know, and we have like an amazing, beautiful afternoon. And so all this, I know that I'm very aware. And so Steve Jobs said that you can connect the dots looking backwards. But as I was talking with Carolyn yesterday, I was saying, no, Carolyn, we can connect the dots moving forward. We can connect the dots moving forward, because I know that I was immersed in this, and I know that I brought this this by thought. You know, I didn't have to go buy the yacht, I didn't have to go buy the mansion, you know, I didn't have to go shopping, I didn't need a real estate agent. It was served to me.
It was served to you. And the other thing is that's really important too. We get back to how the feeling is a secret. And I mean, you know, we can cover the text by Neville Goddard another day, but the feeling of it is also delivered to you. So here you've imagined what it's like, and you've immersed yourself in it. And then the universe almost gives you this gift that says, you know what, I want you to really feel what it's like to have what it is that you keep imagining. So we're going to put the circumstance in your path so that you can actually now not just visualize it and think about it in your mind, but we're going to put you where you can actually feel what it really feels like to be in exactly what it is that you want. So now you've got the imagined showing up, and you've got the feeling of the imagined. So now you're totally equipped to keep growing what it is that you want. So all of it, it all starts with your thoughts. Like,
That's fine.
I was looking back, Pazit and I went back into my notes because I'm a journaler. Many of you are, I'm sure, as well. And I write throughout experiences throughout my day. And I went back into my notes from a trip I took to London in May of 2017. And during that time frame, I made decisions about where I wanted to go with my life. I was clear, I made choices, and I did make some very strong, life-changing decisions. And one of them was a place that I wanted to live. And so I mapped out what that place would look like. And when I was in London, I was imagining coming home to this new place. So I mapped it out. I wrote out exactly what it looked like. I wrote out how many rooms I wanted, where I wanted, what floor I wanted to. I mapped it all out. I wrote it down. And then I got really emotionally involved in what that would feel like to have that feeling, that place that I would now create for my, you know, for my lifestyle, for my clients. And I based it on a feeling that I had had in London of joy and freedom. And so I was so immersed in that feeling when I was there. And the feeling of what I wanted was so strong that I created a mental picture of what I wanted to recreate from that feeling when I got home. So I came home on the 1st of June, and the exact precise thing that I was imagining for myself showed up on the 12th of June. It didn't even take 2 full weeks for what I had in my imagination to show up on my path. And you know, these things happen to all of us. They come and go, and you're just not aware that you are actually attracting them to you by feeling so strongly about something that you want. So what we want to do is we want you to understand how to use these invisible laws for you so that you can, you know, connect the dots moving forward for yourself by making a decision on what you want, and then understanding that you have all the power yourself to do any of these things, anything that you want. Now, do we know how long it will take for that thing to show up in the path? No, but you've got to get into the flow of how much fun it is to actually create this life that you want. So you start with what you really, really want. You start imagining what that feels like to have it right now. And then you just kind of watch how little, you know, opportunities and people and places and circumstances, like the whole universe conspires, right, to bring it to you.
Right.
Nobody's working against you here. The only one that works against you in this process is you.
Right. I was just going to mention
Yeah,
the where a lot of people go wrong. Okay, we were trained. It's not your fault.
right.
Me, Carolyn, we all lived like this until we knew a different way and a better way. Right. So we were trained to look at our circumstances. Okay. So for example, you were trained to look at your bank account, and if your bank account is full, you feel good. If your bank account is empty, you feel like anxiety. You were trained that if your relationship, everything is loving and working great, you feel good. If your relationship, you're fighting, you feel like shit, you don't feel good. So we were trained the other way around. We were trained to look at your report card. Think of it like in school. You get a report card. You get F's, you're like, oh, like I must be dumb or stupid, or, I don't get it, So we were trained to look, and from the look, we would get our feelings. Now, what this does, it keeps us in a loop. Okay, so let's just say, for example, anyone that's going through financial circumstances. You look at your bank account, it's in minus, or it's in lack, or it's in overdraft, your credit cards are packed. So you keep looking at that. You even see the bill. Just seeing the bill, you'll see that you get this feeling of like anxiety. Oh my God, I can't pay the bill. So this is what you're feeling, and you're getting more of it because you are the creator. You are creating more of that lack, because that's the feeling that is associated when you look at your bank account, when you look at those bills. You don't even have to open them. Maybe even you got a check, maybe they even did a refund, but for you, you're already in lack, everything is in lack, it's going to be an expense. And this is in every area. So we were trained like that. And so what Carolyn and I, the 3% that live like us, they flipped the script, and they flipped the script by, we're not going by our circumstances. We're using our circumstances to look at what we're creating. So for example, if the bank account is in minus, I start to think, what am I thinking? What am I thinking? What am I looking at? What's the picture? What picture am I living? I live, thinking, when we think in pictures, and the pictures are what creates the emotions. That's why I say it's so powerful to work with pictures, because the pictures create an emotion. Think of it. When you look at a picture of you when you were a kid, or you or your mom, back in the days, right away you go into that picture very easily through your feelings. You even feel what it was like that day. So pictures bring the emotion. So work with the pictures that you want. So that's it. So train your mind how to work from the inside out, and use what you see on the outside, your results. Just glance at it. Just say, oh, that's what I'm creating. Okay, I don't want that. Okay, I don't want that. Let's change my focus. I need to change my focus. And start changing your focus, and start looking at pictures and images that are aligned. If it's a relationship, a loving relationship that you want, look for all the pictures online, of the kind of couple you want to be. Do you want to be a power couple? Do you want to just be like this, more laid back couple that lives in the country? You decide. Your reality is yours. It's yours to create. You're here to experience the life that you want, but as a creator, not as a drifter who just like
Goes from circumstance to circumstance.
Yeah. Exactly. So that's the main thing. So go ahead,
Yeah.
Carol.
And focusing. Okay, this is the real. This is our work. Our work isn't working hard to get what we want. Our work, if you don't remember one thing other than focus on what you want, the focus part, it's a practice. Learning how to focus is actually an art, because it takes practice to be able to focus on one thing. Now, if you study Bob Proctor, he has a couple of suggestions that he will repeat and repeat over and over until you never forget them, like I never would ever forget how to focus. You can take a candle, for example. Okay, this is a strategy that he teaches to learn how to focus. So you take a candle and you sit yourself very comfortably. Always when we're creating our reality, we want to be at ease. We want to feel relaxed. We want to be calm, okay? Because when you're in that place of calm, you're going to bring to you much, much faster what you want, because you're in alignment with all of creation. So you get yourself into a really comfortable spot, wherever that is for you. Put a candle in front of you, light the candle, and then focus on the flame. And you may only be able to hold your focus for a millisecond. before you get distracted with the other thoughts that are going around. And all of a sudden this one comes in. That's fine. That's fine. You can train yourself to do it for another millisecond longer next time, and a little bit longer the time after. And the goal is to be so focused on that flame that you become one with that flame. Everything else goes away. Now, why would you do that? Because when you can learn and train yourself how to focus like that, you can focus on anything. You can focus on anything that you want without being distracted. So that's like your training ground. And if you can't do it on a flame, just put a dot on the wall. If you're at your job and you're sitting in a place where you want to do something, and you put a little dot on the wall and you focus on the dot, and you become aware of the fact that, hey, I'm not focusing, and you focus back. But you don't beat yourself up because the other thoughts come in. You just want to be kind and gentle, but train yourself to focus, because if you can learn that skill and practice it on how to focus, you can do whatever you want with your focus. So when you choose to focus on a relationship that you want to create, then you can sit down and you can focus all your attention on all the positive attributes of that person that you're imagining is with you. And your focus ability and your ability to bring those things to you, I mean, you've just completely gotten out of your way, right? Focusing our attention on what we want is the name of the game. And that's how Pazit brings things to her.
Okay, you're back.
I'm back.
Yeah.
So I don't know how long that was gone down.
Oh yeah, so basically, so definitely focusing. I was reading that the attention span of our focus is less than 7 seconds, which is less than the one of a goldfish. So you could see that today, obviously, a lot of things demand our attention besides family and the obvious. All the distractions online, notifications, so we can lose our attention really, really fast. So we kind of lost the art of focusing. I say just focus on what you want to create. If you're going to spend that time, when you go to work, you focus on your work, whatever your work is, you focus on that. So when you're creating, it's the same thing, but except you focus on what you want. So for me, it's like I immerse myself in pictures of mansions, yachts, celebrity entrepreneurs. These are the kind of friends I want. This is the kind of lifestyle I want. So you decide what it is for you, and you do it like you're going to work. When you go to work, you're focused on your task at hand. My task is to create. So I train myself to become a creator, and you get really, really good at it. And you enjoy it because it's what you love. If you love writing, then you're focused on writing. It comes so easy and naturally because you love it. You love it. You do it from your heart. It's like I love searching for photos on that kind of lifestyle. I love searching for celebrity entrepreneurs I can interview. I love the process. And so when I do it, I feel like so good and so in love. And like she said, you have to relax into it. You can't stress being a creator. It has to be something that's very natural, like nature. Everything happens naturally. The grass grows, the trees grows, everything's natural. Nothing is under pressure. Nothing is under stress. It just goes, it just flows. So you got to be fluid with it. And then when the opportunity comes, somebody might come to you and say, hey, you want to come here, you want to do that. Realize that if it's aligned, go hop on it. You still have to take action.
Too. Yeah, the opportunity arrives. Know that be aware enough to know that it's the opportunity.
Right, because you're creating it, so you're like, oh my God, that's what I wanted. As soon as she said, oh, it's like Tony Robbins' friends, like I was just thinking, okay, that's all I needed to hear, And what I needed to hear, she said it, I didn't want to just go to a party on a yacht. It had to have more substance to it. And as soon as she said that, I knew that I'm going to meet very like-minded people, and that's really the experiment I wanted. And the mention, I had no idea because she didn't say. She just gave me an address. She said, go to that address. So it's almost like I kind of say it. It's like you're always going on an adventure. We're here to explore who we are, and you got to stay open to different things because you don't know how they come. You don't know. That's what makes it so magical, is that when you get there, it's like, oh my God, it's just so much fun. It's like a kid who gets an unexpected surprise, and that's how you created it. You didn't arrange it. It's not you who said, oh, okay, I'm going to rent a yacht. You didn't take control of it. It's like the universe arranged everything for you, and you just show up. So it's very different. It's like, oh my God, it was so much fun. And I felt like a child. I was like, this is wonderful. And so I felt like I was in wonder again, and so seeing the big picture of the Mad Hatter of Alice in Wonderland, that was the first thing that I saw coming in. I said, oh my gosh, look at this, how perfect this is,
It's magical. And it's fun.
magical.
It's fun to have like a group of people, like we would love to know what's magical for you. Like if we were to open this up, if think back to something that showed up in your life. And now if you were to look at it through a different lens, understand that you in fact did create it. I bet you could, if you were to connect the dots this time going backwards, identify what you probably did to bring that forth, right? Like if there was something that you spent a lot of time thinking about and it actually showed up. I think what's so exciting, what I love so much, is knowing that I got this. Like I am in control of what it is that I want to show up. And I don't have to know how. Most of the time, that's where we get stuck. We go, I don't know how I'm going to do that. You don't have to know how. That part is not your work. Your work is to focus on what you want. What is it? Where are you going? What do you want? And then get really emotionally attached to the outcome of that as if it's already here, as if you already have it. And one of the processes that you can take yourself through, I know some of you already do it, is writing out a life script, writing out a paragraph every day of what it feels like. I'm so happy and grateful now that I have. And then writing that every single day, or writing affirmations, or keeping vision boards. These are all ways of keeping your vision close to you. And then you want to use the power of repetition. Every single moment of every single day. You got to get obsessed with what you want.
Yeah, immersed.
Immersed, obsessed with it constantly, not just a fleeting thought every once in a while. Okay, that's the part that people don't understand. You have to become one with it, with what it is that you want to attract to you. So does that doesn't even really require effort, because if you want to look at it from the perspective of it's just fun, have fun with it.
Yeah.
And then have somebody that you can talk to, or a group that you can bring this stuff to, because Pazit and I talk about this stuff all week long.
Yeah, Carolyn, if I may interject, because I find that the biggest thing when I went from what I was trained, how I was trained to live, like how we were all trained to live, versus becoming a creator, there is an instability, because you're like thinking, but nobody does this, or nobody lives like this, or that's not what I learned, like I learned that if I want to earn money, I got to go to work, and I got to do something hard, physical, and I gotta like go into business and do it, and that's how I get money. So nobody taught me that I can actually create it from thought, like just to think about money, and then it can come like different ways, So you weren't taught like that. So what happens is there's a ping pong match in your head between what's real and what's not, because you are flipping the script on everything that you learned. And why you need the support is because when I speak to Carolyn, and then she's like, Pazit, I created my apartment. I'm like, yeah, and I created this and I created that. And so now we start seeing that, okay, I'm not alone. And then I meet other people that also live this way. And what it does, it's starting to train my muscle of a creator, that I'm not the only one that lives this way. This works for many other people. But before, I was immersed with people that did not think that way and did not live that way. So when I spoke to them, this sounded like a different language. They're like, what are you saying? What are you doing? Is something happened to you? Do you need intervention? Are you going crazy? But it's not. It's just because we've been taught one way and we're learning another. So that's why the support is number one. I mean, for me, it was all my mentors. As soon as I started investing with mentors, and having the support system, is when I was able to strengthen my belief, and knowing there's other people, and I would say, this happened to me, and they would tell me, yeah, that's normal, keep going. And so they reassured me that what I'm doing, I'm on the right track. And so slowly with time, I didn't doubt myself. And
the belief part is really important, because as evidence, as we call it, starts showing up, like Pazit finding herself right in front of the place that she had in her imagination. I mean, you kind of count that as that's evidence for you, because the belief part, you have to believe that this is the way that you create your reality. And the more you read, the more you study, the more this is not new. I mean, the art of creating your own life, deliberately creating what you want. This goes back to the beginning of time. We're just really, if you're finding yourself here, there's a reason you're here. There's a reason that you've tapped into this higher creation side of yourself, and you're learning how to do it for yourself. I mean, you have mentors. I have mentors. Pazit have mentors. We plug into them and we listen to what they say, and then we read the books that they recommend reading, so that when you're immersed in it, you know that you're on the right path. It's not, and you will get people over there and over there that are going to, talk to you in the old language, because it's the only language they understand. It's not their fault. And we're learning how to do things the way that we were meant to do things. I mean, this is what we are. We are creators. That's what we're here to do.
Well, God is a creator, God is a creator, and he created this world by thought. And you have to remember that we are in the image of God. It says it everywhere. We are in his image. So if we are in his image, it means that we have the same power that he had. And this world was created by a thought. God had a thought, he wanted to create this world, and so for 7 days he created, and then by the 7th day he said he was done, So that's really what we are. We are in his image. We do have this power. And what happens is, as children, we knew it. We were creating. Never did we worry as a child. Did you ever worry about a bill or things like that? No. You were just outside. You were playing. You wanted things. You attracted things. If you go back to your childhood, I'm sure there will be things that you're like, you got on your own just by thinking about it. I remember getting a bike, red Converse. All these things just came to me. I even manifested a car when I was 16. I wanted to have a car, and one of my dad's clients ended up giving me my first car. It was a gorgeous Audi. So I was doing it at a very, very young age.
But unconsciously.
Unconsciously. And then the world came in, and, and then kind of like reality kicked in. It's like, that's not how you do things, and you got to do this and you got to do that. And because 97% of the people are doing it wrong, and it's just like their thoughts, their beliefs that are being passed down from generation to generation, I started to buy in. I started going on the wrong track and buying into to the way everybody does everything. So that's why, when you start doing this, you feel a little bit unstable, because there's only 3%, and you have to find those people. You have to find the 3%. Now you found.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That doesn't mean that you're not required to do things. Right. It's not, it's not to suggest that things they do kind of fall out of the sky, actually. But the fact of the matter is, you're required to think of things and take action on things when you're asked to take action. So you have to learn how to make decisions quickly, and you have to learn to act, because opportunities are always going to show up. And if you don't act on them, you're not creating your reality. So you have to become like hyper vigilant, aware of the fact that you're in this creative mode all the time. Right? So then what are you focusing your attention on? And so there's two things, right? You can focus on what you don't want, which is what most people do. They see circumstance and they focus on it. They don't like it. It's not the bank account they want. It's not the relationship they want. It's not the, it's not the job that they want. So all they do is focus on and complain about and talk about and just throw all this energy into that one thing that doesn't work. And they focus on that and they talk about that. And what do you think they are creating? I mean, it can work for you or against you. It's always working. It's invisible law. It never, ever, ever stops working. Our work is to make it work for us. So if you're focusing all your attention on what you don't want, you're only going to create more things to show up in your circumstance that you don't want.
Yeah,
so
use your results to see. Use your results to see where you're at. Just glance at your results. Don't get all into your results. Just look. Don't be stuck in the results. Just look at your results and be like, okay, I love what I'm getting. So if you love that, keep doing more of what you're doing. And if you're like, I don't like this, stop doing what you're doing and
change your thoughts.
That's it. Use your results like a scientist in a lab. Look at it just to see it and be like, okay, I like this, I don't like this.
Change the formula.
Change the formula. So we'll just do a quick recap, and I say we open the floor.
Yeah.
So the number one is you got to think about what you want. So know really precisely what you want. If it's money, have an amount. If it's a lifestyle, know the lifestyle that you want. Do you want to live in the country? Do you want to live in the city? Do you know what you want? If it's a relationship, know the kind of relationship you want. Do you want to become an entrepreneur? Do you want to be a family entrepreneur? Do you want to just be like, just partners? You decide. Do you want to be like somebody with sports? So you decide. So the first step is you think of what kind of lifestyle you want, okay? 2 is you focus with pictures. So find pictures. The thing with vision boards is that there's too many pictures of too many things happening at the same time. Choose one area to focus on at a time, okay? All the areas will come into place, but only choose one. Think of it like this. A GPS only takes one address at a time. You cannot put 5 addresses in a GPS. You have to get to your first location, and once you got to your first location, you put in the new address and get to your second, okay? So the second thing is once you decide what area you want to focus on, you look at pictures daily. You make it like a daily habit to look at pictures that are a reflection of the lifestyle that you want. And then once you look at
get
emotionally attached. Exactly. So as you're looking at the pictures, you'll get emotionally attached. Sometimes you can also use music as you're looking at pictures. Put songs that makes you feel good. Put songs. You can also go to places that are a match with what you want to create. So say, for example, you're creating a wealthy lifestyle, you can go to the most expensive hotels. Just go visit. You're allowed to sit in the lobby. You're allowed to have a drink there. They always have coffee shops and restaurants. Go sit there. It doesn't cost you anything. Sit there. Feel the feeling. So when you feel it, so when you're looking at pictures, oh, this is how it feels to be in a place like this. Now I know I'm going to take that and use that into my, when I'm looking. Feel the feelings, and then just stay open and receptive to things that may come. For example, it could be a text, it could be a phone call, it could be a friend that's calling you to invite you, to take you. As soon as you see that it's aligned, you act on it. You might have to cancel things. You might have to tell your husband, to go pick up the kids. You might have to rearrange your schedule. You must get out of your way when the call for the lifestyle comes in. You must go to it. It sometimes comes as a call.
Yeah, exactly. Sometimes it comes as a call, and sometimes it's another clue. Sometimes you're driving along the highway and it's a billboard, and you just happen to glance at it, and it just happens to have a message on it, and you wonder, did they just flash that message just for me?
Right.
Like there's something in that message on that billboard or in that song I just heard on the radio or a book that I just picked up and I opened and I went, oh my gosh, that was written just for me. Those are all ways that your what you want is delivered to you. It's almost like clues along the pathway of a puzzle, and something that you read or you see or you hear or somebody says to you gives you that next clue to say, oh yeah, I am on the right track. That just furthered my vision in a certain way.
Right. It always comes unexpected. What I wanted to say, it always comes unexpected. It's not something you plan. You're not in control of it. You got to let go of the control. It's not like you're going to make it happen. When it comes to you, it comes unexpected. And that's how you know. So when you show up at the place, you're like, oh my God, you're like a child. You're like, you've just been surprised, and that's how it feels. And actually, when we left the mansion and I took an Uber home, I was telling Carolyn yesterday, it's like the guy in the Uber had my playlist. I was so in the flow. Every song that he had was that song. I was just feeling like every song it's my playlist. It's like he took my phone and he put my playlist. Every song is a song I loved. I was just feeling good. I was like, me and the Uber guy were like, we're just feeling the vibe. We're like, the windows were down. I just like set the mood. Every song was like the song that I love to hear. And as I was driving home, I was feeling like a friggin' billionaire, like I just won the lottery, I was just in the vibe, and I keep that vibe all the time. You have to keep that vibe high, and that's the vibe you want to be on. And not to look at your circumstances. Do not look at your circumstances. Remember that you create them. And I think now we can open the floor. I hope that we gave you the step-by-step. We broke it down into the step-by-step process. It's something that you have to practice every day. But I wouldn't even call it work, because when you love what you do, I love looking at pictures like that. I love being in that lifestyle. It's not work. It's just a passion. So find something that you're passionate about. And if you're creating your life, I'm sure you'll be passionate about creating the life that you want. It's yours. It's yours. Yeah. So let's open the floor. I believe if anybody has questions, something that they want to share, anything on this subject of you being the creator.
I'd like to start if I can.
Go ahead.
So what I find really interesting is that I bring what I bring to my life, so I get that. And right now I know how valuable it is to me to find people who I can share what to others may be really wild ideas.
Yes.
Because I have shared with some people and they're going, but you can't, and you can't. I'm going, okay, stop telling me what I can't do.
Yeah.
So for me, there's power in being able to share really cool ideas. I was going to say crazy, but I like the idea cool better. Ideas with people and know that I'm going to get that support and be able to move forward with it and keep the idea in my head, as opposed to the 97% of the people I do talk to who go like, this is going to cost you too much. You know, don't do this, don't do that. And I'm thinking, you're taking my dreams away from me. Don't do that to me, because that's not fair.
Yeah.
But I definitely know I have to get more connected with pictures and really see this.
Right, and it's who you allow in your. You have to remember that the people that are in your life, it's who you allow, and how much time you allow them. Because when they plant seeds, when they say you can't, sometimes you brush it off, but the truth is, it still goes into your mind, and that's why it's so important to guard your mind, the people that you hang around with. Because I can brush things off, but sometimes, you know, it goes in. We're like sponges, and it absorbs it. So the best thing I could do is I would suggest to spend less and less time with them and start spending more and more time in groups like these that feed your dreams. We got to feed your dreams, and the power comes from us telling you you're on the right track. Yes, we've been through that. We can navigate the seas with you because we've done it. We've been on that journey. We've navigated that boat. I've already gone on the other side. I can tell you, it's normal. It's normal. Keep going. Yeah.
You should never stop creating. I mean, every place that you get to, we often use the example of the base camps for climbing the mountain. It applies in all these situations, because it's not like you're going to create something and then, okay, well, I'm done creating now. I mean, you're just going to keep creating. So you're going to have to use these skills constantly. So once you're moving and that momentum is kicking in and you're understanding and you're seeing evidence and it's showing up, you're just going to keep moving. So it stands to reason that there's going to become a little bit of a gap between you and the people who are just not understanding. And that doesn't mean, okay, all you people have to go. Okay. Some of them might. I know I've had to do that. I've had to just say, I got to love you and leave you. Right? Because you're not in alignment with those people now, and that feeling that you have with them, you don't get the feeling that you want to have, and it really is all about how you're feeling. So if you're feeling that discomfort with a certain group of people that you're used to spending an awful lot of time with, you might have to kind of temper the amount of time. You have to be very, very picky about who you surround yourself with, because it influences all of it. So it's not like you have to eliminate them, but sometimes you have to spend less time with certain people and choose the kind of environment that is going to support, this garden that you're planting with your thought seeds. I mean, that's really what they are. All your thoughts are seeds, and you're planting them and you're nurturing them and you're watering them and you're loving them and you're throwing sunshine and all that stuff on them. And then somebody comes along and throws a whole dump truck of earth on top.
Right. Thoughts are consciousness too. I wanted to add that thoughts are consciousness, which means they're all energy. So being in a room with these people, even if they don't talk to you, their thoughts, their lower vibration thoughts, you do get that. You do get them. I want you to know that. That's why it's so important. I'm a girl who burns the bridges. When I go places, like when I decide I'm going to this lifestyle, I kind of let go of a lot of friends, and I just do it because I'm I like to get to where I want to go really fast. so I'm a bit of I decide what I want. I know what I want, and I know that if their consciousness is going to affect me, it's not conducive for me, and I don't want anything to stop me. So I don't want to be part of that consciousness. So you got to love him and leave him, love him and leave him, you know, that's the way I am. But you do it in a way that's comfortable from you. Some people like to take their time, and that's okay. But I don't like to flip flop between what they think, what I think, what they think, what I think, because it's just like extends the time. I want to go fast to where I want. So I clean my garden. I just like pull out all the weeds. Let's go. You know, let's plant new seeds. And planting new seeds is new friends, new people. And they do show up very, very fast.
They do. They do. When you made a decision like you just have, Natalie, you just made a decision right this red hot minute. You just decided that you wanted to seek out more places where you could freely express all of these things that you want to create. And I mean, you know, that's why you're here.
You're here. You've already created it.
It's safe to do all of that. So you were thinking, I need to find a place where I can, but you created it.
You found it. You found it. You found it. Sometimes we find it, we forget that we find it. Like you're in it, you forget like, oh my God, yeah, you found it. You wanted this and you got it now. And the question is, what are you going to do with that? So thank you for sharing. Anybody else wants to share an experience? Yeah, Maria, let's go.
Hey guys, good morning. Thank you so much for, I love this. Like I so love, especially the stories, because I'm such a visual person. So hearing Carolyn's story last week and then hearing Pazit this week, I'm like, yeah, like it just seeps so much deeper. So thank you for that.
You're welcome.
When you were talking, Pazit, about, I mean, you blew my mind with your stories. I was like, this is amazing. I want that. And I know that I can have that, but that is incredible, right? The same thing with Carolyn with her story with her apartment and stuff. But so when you were talking about focus in itself, when you have the big picture focus, right? So for me, it's think it. And I have this big picture focus of, I know my lifestyle. I know my view, which I have behind me. I'm trying to create the environment where I'm in. For example, when you have a feeling like, you know, maybe the matrix would help. Let's say we're talking about Bob Proctor stuff, or maybe, you know, this would help. It's like an additional thing that you're thinking about. So when you're talking about focus, should you just focus on the think it big picture, and then if I'm meant to be there, things will show up? Or if you know, like, for example, I know that I wanted to, you know, I knew that I wanted to work with you, and now we're working together, right? It's just, it's done, right? And so I was like, okay, so if there's something else, like, I don't know, a deepening or something else that I feel like it, should I just focus on the think it and then let things flow as they're supposed to flow, and it'll come in the way that I love, that little surprise little kid inside, how you walked in and saw the Mad Hatter? Because I kind of like that more than having to think like, well, maybe if I go here, then this will happen, and maybe I don't want to think about control at all. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, it's a great question. As soon as you think I have to go here to make it happen, you're out of whack.
Okay.
You don't have to do that. What you just got to say, like, say for example, the matrix comes in, so you could put the matrix, and if going to the matrix becomes your goal, then all your energy has to go on the matrix. So you get pictures of the matrix, you look up Bob Proctor the matrix, you look at videos on the matrix. Like the matrix becomes like, you talk matrix, you sleep matrix, you cook matrix, you breathe matrix. So that's if you want to get to the matrix. If you want to get to think it, that's what I said. You have to think of one thing at a time. Now the matrix might be part of the think it. Okay, it might be part of it. So I would keep like the think it as your main thing. Like I keep my idea, like say the lifestyle, that's my major idea. And then for example, I got an idea, I want to do a TV show. I had a TV channel. So I said, oh, I'm going to do a TV show, you know? So you might have think it, and you might think, oh, maybe I could do think it at the matrix. You take your initial idea, and then you can bring it into different environments. So I would keep think it as my archetype, like my big thing. And then I would do like think it, having it at the matrix. I could see myself using think it at the matrix. I could see myself talking about think it at the matrix. So that's how.
And that's where a life script comes in really handy, right? If you're going to write a life script, it just needs to be a paragraph. And you imagine, so you write out something as if, okay, if think it is exactly what you want, then you write down in your life script every single day, I'm so happy and grateful that that I've created think it, and that everybody in the matrix is absolutely loving it, and I've made partnerships at the matrix, and think it has grown in size. I never imagined it could be this great, and I am so excited about where think it is going, and Bob Proctor's introduced me to all the partners I need to make think it a reality for me. but as if you've already done it, as if it's
That's
done
it.
already.
That's it,
And then
because the
repeat
Matrix,
it, and then repeat it, and then repeat it every single day, and think about that life script. And as you're writing a life script, it's going to shift a little bit. You're going to get more to paint into that life script because your imagination now is wide open to all the ideas. And when they come, acknowledge them, say thank you, because they're all part of the reality that you're consciously, deliberately creating with your thoughts. Does that make sense?
Yes, perfect. Thank you so much.
I think, Pazit, you wanted to add something to that.
yeah, because I said the Matrix can come in many different ways. Maybe you're thinking that you need to buy your way in, but maybe you can be invited as a guest. You don't know. That's the surprise. That's why you don't want to think how. Don't get caught in the how. Just think like, remember Maria, when we were talking, we were saying, oh my God, you could be at like all these different self-development shows. Right. Isn't that part of it? Maybe Matrix is one of the self-development arenas that Think It will be part of. So you're like, I could see Think It at the 10X. I could see Think It at the Matrix. I could see Think It at Tony Robbins, right? So now Think It, you start like saying where you see it. You know, I see it here and I see it there and I see it here and there and I love it and they love it. And, you know, partnerships with Bob Proctor, with Grant, with, you know, all these things, right? So now you're feeding Think It.
Yeah.
I love that. I never saw it that way. Thank you. That's incredible.
You got it. Yeah, that's why we're here, to answer your questions and to guide you.
Does anybody else have? Yes. Hi, Wendy.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning.
Jumped in a little late, but I'm here.
That's it.
I think for me, I was a little scattered, so it is very important to focus on one thing at a time. I do have a broad range of things that, you know, it's been a long year of everything slowly coming together. Slowly eliminating and lessening the time with the people, like Natalie said, that just, you know, if they tell you you can't, or there's always a negative. As soon as you say, you know, I'm going to do this, or I'm going this way, and knowing that they're always trying to steer you in their direction or keep you stuck with them because they can't fathom anything beyond that. Exactly. So it's been a long year for me of slowly getting that to that point. But things have come to me, like when I'm thinking, you know, things do come to me. I guess maybe I'm not as focused on the one thing. I don't seem to be bringing some of the right people in. They're attracted to my moving forward, but they're not as fast. So I you know, and it's kind of, my nature is to help people. So that sort of becomes this catalyst for me, because I'm always trying to encourage people with their health, their wellness, and their mindset. It's been something I've done for years, and I had something that put me a little backwards a couple of years ago. So I'm trying to get back on myself, but still help other people. So it's been a really strange balance. But meeting you guys, about a year and a bit ago at the Bob Proctor thing, I mean, that was amazing. And I've been trying to keep like-minded people in the loop. But again, trying to just have it attract. Like, I find some of the people I'm attracting, it's kind of like, oh crap, okay, but now they're slowing me down. How do we get past that? How do I know?
Have you
like,
decided
I know
what you want, Wendy? Have you like made a decision about what it is? Like you were saying before, you were scattered before, and that's cool, because we always got a whole bunch of stuff coming in all the time. Have you like decided exactly what you want? Because sometimes when we're still a little scattered and we haven't decided on that one thing, because Bob will always tell you, you know, pick one, maybe two goals at a time, but really focus on one. Because when you write down what you want, it's like a shopping list, but you want to focus on that one thing. And when you focus on that one thing and you get really clear on it, then the universe gets really clear on it. And then they send you the people and the places and the circumstances because you're clear.
Well, you
and
gotta remember that I was
I
just gonna say that the people that are in your life, you're attracting them. So you have to also look at you, what's in it, what's in me. And that's why by getting clear on what you want, like what kind of friends do I want, you know? So as soon as you get one that's not what you want, you recognize it.
I think because there are a few different avenues to kind of get to the same place, and that's where I've been scattered. Because with the health and wellness, you know, I do aquafit instruction. I have stepped forward and I've honed my focus more on the professional organizing. So I'm actually I've decided I'm going to try and stick with that. I've joined the professional organizers in Canada so that I'm more around like-minded people that want to do that. I do have a friend who wants to do the organizing. Unfortunately, it's like, but I don't want to do this part, or I don't want to do that part. And I'm like, well, but that's what I need in a partner or somebody to move forward with on this. You know, it's finding the people that are business minded and things like that. So joining the professional organizers in Canada, I did that in December. So that's helpful. And, you know, now going out to their meetings is helpful. So, and then just yesterday, I happened to be out at a pawn shop and my girlfriend was looking at a flute and I was talking to a lady and I don't know, she was talking about clutter and things like that. So I ended up giving her my card. She's like, oh my gosh, like me and my husband, like we need help and this and that. We've got a 5-bedroom house. So again, but it's people that are ready, like waiting for them to be ready. So things are coming into play, but yeah, it's the people and it's just been a really slow process. So I'm trying to figure out what it is about me that is attracting the people that aren't quite helping, you know, or part of me leveling up, basically. And so I'm hoping part of this, because I loved meeting you guys, and it's logistically, you know, you're a little further away. So I love the Zoom. This is great, being able to see people, and I love all your posts. So I want to get better at that stuff too, because it'll be part and parcel with the organizing and you know, facial and personal wellness. I'm just so I think I am narrowing the focus, but I still have like my aquafit in the back of my mind, and so maybe that's it, that those other things are still kind of in the back of my mind. Like I feel like I want to be doing those as well.
Yeah, I think it's clarity. I think it's clarity.
Yeah.
Pazit, you want to take it?
No, I agree with you. There's a lack of clarity. I would just sit down today. Don't wait anymore. Don't wait till tomorrow. Sit down today and ask yourself what you really, really want and decide on one. Okay, decide on one that is the one that you feel the most connected to. Yep. Nobody can do that job for you. That's yours. You decide on the road you want to take. And once you decide on that road, you'll see that things will go. But you can't be wishy-washy or flip-flop or, you know, back and forth. Like you're thinking, oh, maybe I should go back to this. Maybe I shouldn't. Maybe no. You got to know, like, this is what I want. This is what I'm going for. Okay, now let's move forward.
The one that excites you the most, the one that really, really gets your imagination moving. And there is always one. Even if you had 3 that you say, I love them all equally, they're not equal. There's always going to be one that really, and that doesn't mean the other ones will never be, because the other ones will be somehow integrated because they're all part of what you want. But if you don't choose one thing to really get excited about and really focus your attention on, so that all of the cooperative components for that one thing start showing up, then you're going to be where, well, these people don't feel right. Well, no, because you're not clear.
Yeah.
Well, and I think things do show up and I'm like, oh, okay. You know, the people and the places, they're showing up. And I guess maybe because I do distract my attention from that one focus to the other one. Oh, things are showing up here too. I guess I'm kind of waiting for each thing to like see which one sort of manifests more, because they are all in the direction of my big C. So like my big goal. I think I believe I have decided. So I believe the organizing is where I'm going to start, and then I will meet the other people.
Because don't forget, the circumstances are completely in connection with your thoughts.
Yeah.
So if your thoughts are judging what's going on by what's showing up, you got to flip it.
That's it.
Yeah.
I was just gonna say that it's like because it's flipping in your head. It's like think of you like a TV channel. You're flipping the channel between one channel and the next, one channel and the next. So both things are coming into your reality. You know, that's why you get some some with the organizing and some with the aqua thing, right? So because you keep flipping. But once you decide, like just think what you would love. The way I see it is like if you remove money, okay. If you remove money, what would you love to do? Let's just say we took off money, you had nothing to pay. You just can do this one thing all day long. What would it be? That's the one.
Well, the funny thing is my biggest thing is I say that I want to make money doing what I do, helping people in a variety of ways, because I'm very good at helping people in the variety of ways. The aquafit, with that, the organizing, I'm actually very good at that. I've been helping people for years for free. And it's like, okay, now I need to earn a living. Like I need to be able to pay my bills and my fun, my travel money with this. So it is developing that. Again, it's and I'm always trying to change people's mindset. So again, all of that is part and parcel. But that's why I've called my company Organize Your Life Spatial and Personal Wellness, because I figure I can get more into the wellness and the mindset. And I just have a passion for helping people, and I'm always there to help people. Now I just need.
Which way do you want to help them? Yeah, like you could do, like it doesn't mean you're not going to be doing other things, like transgress. Like for example, like if you're organizing, you're organizing in wellness. So it's a bit more, it's a bit more than just organizing. It's also like about lifestyle, mindset, things like that. So that could be, but I just like the aqua is very different. The aqua fitness, is very different from the organizing. So I don't know if it's like something that you fall back on, that could be something that could just be like an add-on. But I find that usually when you find one road to take, everything leads into it. So my photography led into self-development, but my photography was about people, was about portraits. So it kind of went into self-development. Now I don't do what I do through taking pictures, but I still use pictures as part of the evolution as a creator. So it's still like the same kind of like energy. It's still aligned. And I just find that the two things that you're doing, although you love to help people in many different ways, that's amazing. But find one that's kind of like, I don't know why, but I read energy and I'm feeling organizing and wellness, the direction for you. I'm not sure if you're holding on to the aqua fitness because this is something like that brings in money. I'm not really sure all your circumstances, but when you're talking, organizing and wellness is a match for you.
Yeah. Well, I look at the Aquafit because the certification is international. So I feel that it's something I can do when I travel. I actually would like to move to Europe so that I can travel more of Europe because I'm there and it's and I'm part of that vibe. And so, so I think that maybe that's what it is with the Aquafit, because I do love it, but it's, and I can help people through the Healing Waters certification. So, and I think that's what it is. I think I keep getting drawn back to that because I'm thinking, oh, okay, well, it's something I can do abroad. I can travel. I can, do that, at hotels so I think maybe that's where I'm drawn, but I believe you're right. I think the organizing is.
Well, you want to create a revenue stream for yourself. For you to go to Europe and work location independent and do all that kind of thing, you need to support yourself with a revenue stream. So you want to focus your attention on, okay, that is definitely on my list of goals. But right now, I want to help people. And the relationship with helping people and doing what you love is in direct alignment with the law of compensation. The law of compensation will provide you with a revenue stream for something that you're passionate about, that you're giving to people, and then you want to create ways of like packages or whatever it is in your organizing in that business that you just talked about. When you want to create ways to earn money, then your job is to create an infrastructure for that. So what do I have to do today to help people get where they want to go? And that in turn, and then create a program, right? You have to create something so that you can deliver that knowledge and expertise to be able to help somebody. You have to create a program that's monetized so that you now are part of the compensation back and forth. You're giving, you're creating something for them, you are helping them. you're earning from the exchange of money for your expertise.
Yeah.
So now you've created your revenue stream, one of them, because there's multiple ways of earning revenue, earning money, but then that, you know, will be in alignment with the dream of later, because now you have a revenue stream, you've created wealth for yourself over time, where now you can go to Europe and do all those other things that you don't want to do.
And who knows, maybe the aqua fitness thing was just like your ticket to go, because, you know, like, don't overthink it in your head, because maybe the aqua fitness was your ticket to go work internationally. It could be just like your foot in, you know? You know what I mean? So, and now that I understand, your fitness has to do with wellness.
Yeah.
Okay, now I got it. Yeah, I didn't understand. I thought the aqua fitness was more of a like an exercise type of thing, but now I see that has to do with the wellness of a person. So maybe it all does tie in, you know? Maybe it does all tie in. I think I would just sit down, really just sit down and get very clear on how you'd like to use your talents or your gifts, how you'd like to use them, and how you can combine them so it makes sense.
Yeah, if you want to hop on a call, just to get a little bit of clarity, I'm happy to do that. Right. So just, you know, go and reach out either in the event, or just go to my website and just send me an email. And we can
that's the other thing. Reaching out. Well, that's the other thing too, is apparently to be successful, you got to write a book. So I need to take my thoughts on.
Well, you know. There is that. There's no question about that. But I think the first thing you want to do is get really clear on exactly what and Pazit does the vision branding. So I mean, that's why Pazit and I were brought together in partnership, because what we do, unbeknownst to us when we first met, is really very much one complements the other. So we're always happy to be able to share some ideas with you to get you kind of over that place where you're moving forward. So so reach out to us. We're happy to help.
Yeah, definitely. And sorry, I didn't want to monopolize the
That's okay.
No, not at all.
I want to get to Gabriella has a question here. So
go ahead.
if you don't move forward with any or one thought, how do you know if the difference is lack of motivation or self-sabotage? So if you don't move forward with any one thought, how do you know if the difference is lack of motivation or self-sabotage? Gabriella, do you want to unmute and just kind of maybe give us a little bit more context?
Yeah, it's just that thank you for this. I mean, going back to the lack of, the laws of attraction, this definitely is a group that I've been asking for. So I just want to say thank you. And listening to everybody, what they have to say and all that, I feel like snippets of me a little bit here and there. Oh yeah, I get that. Oh yeah, I felt that. Oh yeah, I've been here. Oh yeah, I feel exactly like that. So and as I was taking down notes and listening, I was realizing that there are a few things that I do want to do that I aspire and dream of. And I think I'm going to finally do, like Pazit said, we're taking photos and whatnot and actually pinpointing on one thing. But nonetheless, sometimes I feel a little bit like Wendy is scattered, where I start thinking of all these things that I want and aspire to have. But it's like I just put it on a bookshelf and don't think about it anymore.
Yeah.
So because it's like it's overwhelming or whatever, or I'll get to it, and I'm not sure if that is a lack of motivation or if it's just because I feel as though I'm not worthy enough. And I don't think that I'm not worthy enough. I believe that I'm worthy to have whatever it is that I want, but I sometimes don't always understand why I don't move forward.
Well, moving forward and making decisions is a habit. Right. And our habit is often not making, like choosing to put it aside and not paying attention to it is a habit.
Mm-hmm.
Just like choosing to decide and move forward with it is a habit.
Right.
So because most of our behavior is habitual. So when we start like paying attention and becoming aware of things, like you're aware of the fact that you put it aside. Okay. So now if you want something, you have to be aware that there's something about that habit that you have to change. Yeah. Now, in the program that I've followed since 2015 with Bob, Pazit has followed the program, so has Valerie, at Thinking to Results, and Kim is in that program now too. The very first lesson of the 12 lessons is determine what you want. Okay, the program is extraordinary, but the very first lesson is create a shopping list of what you want, personal goals, professional goals. Okay, and then as you move through that lesson, you're asked to now narrow it down. So always keep that shopping list. There's nothing the matter with having that shopping list of all the things you want. Okay. Now so when it comes to your list that you talked about, you put on a shelf. So my first suggestion is don't put it on a shelf. Okay. Take it out, put it in front of you, and become consciously aware of all those things and write them all down. Okay. And then the next thing you want to do is look at that list, review that list, constantly review it, revisit it, realign that list until you start seeing a pattern of what it is that you really feel you want the most. And then you create like a shorter list, like everyone does it. The Academy Awards do it. You got the long list and you got the short list, right? Yeah. So now you're down to the short list, and now you're starting to really connect with one or two of those things. That doesn't mean that the rest of the list goes away, because the list is constantly changing, because all of a sudden you're going to say, oh my gosh, I think I'd like to do that. Add it to the list. But start focusing on the one thing that really, really calls you. Yeah. That's the thing. Now, the thing is, you don't have to know how you're going to do it. As a matter of fact, the one thing that you really want that's the most worthy of you is the thing that you don't know how you're going to do. That's the thing that needs to stay on the list, right? Like Wendy said, like, I don't know, you don't know how you're going to do it. It's a C-type goal. A C-type goal is something that you want, but you have no idea how you're going to. You've never done it before, but you know you want it. That's the best goal, because that's going to force you to grow. And the reason why you put the list aside is because you're resisting the growth that is going to come with the goal that you really want.
Yeah, totally.
The other thing I was going to suggest is just whatever your goal is, choose one, because once you finish one, it'll give you the momentum. You'll be like so proud of yourself that you've accomplished one, and then you'll do the next and the next. Exactly. And that will give you momentum. That's why I say start with one, because if you start with like 10 and then you're like, I'm overwhelmed, I'll forget it. You'll go back into your old habit, and the pull to the past is so strong. So, and the other thing is never put it on a shelf. Find one goal and put pictures of it everywhere, on the fridge, on your phone. I mean, today we have phones, we have laptops, a screensaver. Every time you open your phone, like, let it be the first picture that you see. Let it remind you. Let it remind you, because the more you see it, the more it'll remind you, and you start aligning yourself with it. So try this week, try one little goal, one little thing that you want to do. It doesn't have to be big. Could be just one. Take pictures of what you'd like to accomplish. Put it on your phone. Put it on your fridge. Put it where you spend the most time. I don't know, in the bathroom. On your mirror in the bathroom. Because we're putting our makeup. I'm thinking, and things like that. Or where you spend your most time, on your bedroom. On my bedroom, I have like this big dresser. I have like my goal always staring at me when I wake up. The first thing I see is my goal. So just start with one. Put it in sight. And see how you're, how you start getting ideas and start feeding that one idea. And that's it. Just start with one.
It's a magical process. Like, have fun.
You start with one.
Yeah, have fun with it. It's a magical thing, and just just get into that flow of the belief that you are actually in the process of creating exactly what you want. Yeah, like, you have the power to do that. And the couple of different ways that we've talked about today, I mean, Pazit's like got all of I'm the same way. I've got exactly what I want. It's always staring at me, and I'm always writing about it, and I'm always feeling, because I'm auditory too. So I listen with these things into, a sound that reminds me of a place. So when I'm writing my affirmations, I'm doing kind of double duty. I'm listening to what it feels like to be there, and I'm writing about what it feels like to be there and to be doing these things in that place. So these are strategies that, to those that are not understanding it, like we're understanding it, it's, well, what are you doing that for? What do you mean you have to do affirmations? What do you mean you got to live? What are you doing? You're not going to just get what you think about. Yeah, you will.
Yeah.
Yeah, you do, but you have to change your habits, and it's good that you're aware. You're aware that, listen, every time I put it on the shelf, it doesn't happen. You're aware of it. So now you're like, the next time you put it on the shelf, you have to say, no, enough with the shelf. Let's stick it everywhere around my house. Let's just put it everywhere.
Yeah.
And do
it's
that.
Like a feeling of, I'll get to it at some point, and then I just realize, going by, and I'm not getting to it.
Right. And if that's your belief, remember, that's your thought. I'll get to it at some point means that's what you're creating more of. I'll get to it at some point. I'll get to it. Where's that point?
nowhere.
Exactly. That's what you're getting nowhere. And that's what's causing, because you're getting nowhere, that's where the lack of motivation is coming. And yeah, the self-sabotage 100%, because you're doing it to yourself and now you're aware of it. You even say it, you even know the results. You're like, I'm getting nowhere. And you keep doing it. So coming to groups like these, we were like, you know, like you hear things and you be like, no, I'm not putting it on the shelf, you know?
Yeah.
I want to go somewhere.
It's like giving yourself a little kick in the butt.
Exactly. And you expand your awareness. So Carolyn, we have to wrap this up. It's we've kind of gone over time, and I have to get on another call. But so to wrap this up, I think that, you know, just have fun this week. Think of one thing you want to create. It doesn't have to be big. I always tell people, start with one thing, like attracting even like a free coffee, attracting a dinner with a friend, whatever it is for you, you know. You can start with something very little, just to kind of like give yourself that, oh my God, I did this, right? I did this. I know I did this. And then you're going to be like, I want to try it again, but now with something different. So you could just start with something very, very little. You know, you attract a gift, a flower, whatever it is, you know, somebody gives you a flower, you know, or you attract a rose. You don't know, because you don't know how it's going to come, you know. And then just picture it, do the same process that we spoke about, and see what happens. And that will give you the confidence and the power to do it for other things. And I'll give you a story next week when you guys show up.
Yeah, I want to hear the story.
Yeah, the stories. You could share your stories on what you've, you know, what you've created. And monitor your thoughts, you know, monitor your thoughts.
Or even just the habits that you've decided to change. I mean, it comes in, you know, when you gain clarity. So, you know, Wendy, maybe what you want to do is go and get really focused on exactly what you want. And maybe Gabriella, you want to take that list off the shelf and put it right in front of you and start really focusing your attention on what is it on this list that what really turns me on? What do I really, really want? You know, that's where it really begins, is finding that, focusing on it, and then watching all the things start showing up. So I would love to hear stories next week about
what excites you. Just go for what excites you. Don't be logical. Don't let your mind rule you. Don't let your mind rule you. Just whatever you love, you know, make it happen.
Well, this week is already set up as organizing. So I have like 3 evenings of meetings and things, and meeting with some other people, just talking about it. So hopefully, and I do plan on actually registering the business this week. That was
excellent. Good for you.
Okay.
Yeah, that was something I've already been planning. So with the organizing. Oh, and I'll send you the link to my website. So I'm pretty happy about that. It's a work in progress, but it's already started.
That's wonderful. You're already in it. That's it. Keep working at it. You're on the right track.
Finally.
Yes. Keep going. Keep going.
Thank
It's
you.
a process, guys. It's a process. It's not like, you know, magic, but it's a process. And the more you work at it, meaning work with your mind. I'm not saying work physically, but work with your mind on what you want. It'll give you ideas like to finish your website, things like that. But that's part of it. And you love it because it's your business, your organizing thing. It's all part of what you're creating. It's all part of the same umbrella.
Yeah.
So have fun creating and manifesting, and you know, we can talk about it all we want, but to make it happen is you got to do it. It's your journey. Nobody can do it for you. I wish we could just like touch you and you would have the magic, but it doesn't.
I know, right?
I wish, or a magic wand and go, okay, you're healed. But the journey is part of the process.
Yeah, so we have to live the journey. We talk about that, Pazit and I too, right? We have to live it so that we understand how much we have the power to do it. So therefore we can do it. So you have to actually live through the journey.
Yeah, you are the creator of your life. You have to know it. And we're going to repeat it every single time, that you are the creator of your life. This is your power, and this is for you to take back.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right.
So that's a great last word for our morning. That's great.
Amazing. Thank you.
Thank you everybody for showing up, and have fun, and we'll see you all next week.
See you next week.
All right, creators, go have fun. Bye-bye.